Good morning and welcome to this Pilates class. Today we're going to be working on the pelvis area in some strengthening exercises, and then we're going to go into some deep stretches later on. Let's get started. So we're going to start on the mat in some cat-cow to check in with our spine this morning. Put spine to sky, rocking forwards and backwards. Inhale in the cow. Exhale in the cat, feel the stretch along the spine. Inhale in the cat, feel the stretch in the abs. Starting off with a small range of movement. As you mobilise, things will start to feel a little bit looser and you'll be able to go a little bit of a larger range of movement. From here, child's pose. Knees together. Back to tabletop. Big circles with the hips, working through any stiff and tightness. Taking your time. Big circles, working through the motions of cat-cow. Change direction. I want you to feel nice and lengthened and warm after this class. And back to cat-cow. Feel very stiff this morning. It's 6 a.m. here. I'm taking it nice and slow. From here, I'm going to thread the needle. So bending in the elbow, looking through. Following your hand with your gaze as far round as you can. Again, same principles, starting off with a small range of movement until you get used to and mobilised. So I'm going to go 5 each side, so another 2. Beautiful. Opens up the chest and the upper back nicely. And the last one, I'm just going to pause, extend the arm overhead. Make sure your chest doesn't fall into the ground. Deep breaths. One more deep breath, pushing the abs out. Good. Over to the other side now. Again, start off with a smaller range of movement. Last one. Let's thread that needle and hold it. Again, make sure your chest doesn't fall into the ground. Good. Back over to cat-cow. If your knees are feeling a little bit uncomfortable throughout any of these exercises, or your wrists, you can try doubling up on the mat. You can go into your fists as well with your wrists, or come a little bit further forward so you're not clamping down as much with that bend in the wrist. Good. From here, I'm going to go donkey kicks. Heel to sky, squeezing the bum cheek, crunching in. Looking for 15. Crunch. In your own time, or as many as you can. Opens the hip flexors nicely. Try not lean all on that one hip, okay? That's stabilising you. So 4. Good. Then from here, let's mobilise the inner hip joint. Big circles, 8 reps. Abs engaged, don't dump in that one hip. 4 more. as far up as you can. 2. Foot's coming up as well. 1 more. Good. Feet together, fire hydrants. As far up as you can. 8. Okay, from here extend the leg. Rainbows, last 8. 2, 3, 4. Good. 5, 7, 8. From here, I'm going to tuck the toes under to down dog. I'm going to stretch out the heels by paddling the feet. More bend in the knee, easier on the back it is. And then the leg that we've just been working on, the one that's been doing all the work, I'm going to kick it up to the sky, knee back, and we're going to go into a pigeon pose. Good. I'm just going to make sure you're sitting in the middle of the mat. Don't worry too much about the bend in the leg, as long as you feel it here. That's what we're looking for. And every exhale, try and relax a little bit further into the pose, okay? Especially if you find it intense, if you've got any PGP or tight glutes. You can bring your forehead to your hands. Again, try and relax your glutes. Are they tensed up? Just switch them off. Allow yourself to feel that stretch in your glute. You can feel it ease off. I'm going to come up into an extended pigeon pose. Deep breaths. You can stay here or you can go into dragon, which is a massive hip opener. Now we're nice and warm on that one side. Paddle it out in downward dog. Hips to the sky, untuck the tailbone. And then this time your foot comes outside of the right hand, right foot. So I'm going to settle in there. Go no further, untuck the toes. Go no further if this feels quite intense for you and you feel super tight. Deep breaths. Allow yourself to feel the stretch in the inner hip. If you want to go a little bit further, onto a flexed ankle edge. Knee comes out. And then you can come onto your elbows if you wish. Or try. 2 deep breaths. Good. Back to down dog. Take your time. Paddle them feet out. Notice how loose that hip feels now. Hopefully. Back into cat-cow for 5. Things are really starting to loosen off now. Good, let's grab a drink. Okay. I'm going to move over to the other side now. So we started with donkey kicks. 15. Really squeezing that glute now, that bum cheek on the other side. Feeling on my wrist a little bit, so just moved a little bit further forward there. Another 5. 2. 1. Good. Big hip opening circles. 8. Any clicks? How's it feel in comparison to the other side? That's what it's all about. We do one side so we can compare with the other side. With a 4, 3, 2. One more. Good. Feet together, fire hydrants. 8. 5. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Extend the leg. Rainbows. 8. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Down dog. Going into a pigeon. Let's paddle them heels out. Kick that leg all the way up into a 3-legged dog. Knee back and into pigeon to stretch off that glute we just worked. Deep breaths. Try and not get pulled off center. You can feel anything easing off and you feel like you want to, come onto your forehead. Can you notice any muscles easing off and relaxing in around the glute and pelvis area? Exhale will help you get there a little bit faster. Deep breaths. Extended pigeon with extended arms. I enjoyed that on that side there. Deep breaths. Tuck under your toes back to down dog. Or you can stay there, and we're going to try a dragon. Left leg up and over, and dragon. Settle in. How's it feel on this side in comparison? Just as tight maybe, or not as? Deep breaths. Stay here, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, flex your ankle, push your knee out, settle in, and onto elbows if that feels alright. Cannot get both elbows down this morning, absolutely not. Definitely not on that side anyway. Back to down dog. Paddle out. How do them hips feel? Hopefully a little bit looser now. Give the hips a shake side to side like you've got a tail. You're slowly wagging. Good. Knees out. Feet together. Wide child's pose. Hip opening. Circle off them wrists. Or just have the palms face the sky just to relax them. And give them a rest. It was quite intense on the wrists. Two more deep breaths. Pushing the belly out. Stay here, or if you want to go into frog and open deep in the hip. Feet out to the side, knees in the same position. As long as your knees feel alright, you're just trying to bring your hips closer to the mat. Good. Back into child's pose, knees together, back bend. Spine to sky, into a cat. Feel the stretch. Stay here in a plank, or you can come down into the Sphinx. Wide elbows, so it's not as intense. It's more about settling your hips into the mat. Deep breaths. You end up feeling a stretch in the base of your back here. If you're fine with this and you don't feel this is intense enough, feel free to go to Cobra. I'm going to start warming the back muscles up now. One that's really functional for having a sunbed and getting a tan is when you're lying and trying to tan your back, and you've got to drink some things to pick up or pass or grab sunglasses. So you're like that on the lounger and you're grabbing stuff, and then you're sitting up to put your sunglasses on or to read. So like it's really functional for when you're going on holiday, so you're not as stiff, so you enjoy the lounger more, you're not in pain. So we're going to start with dorsal raises. So remember, you've got imagine that you've got a P between your shoulder blades and you're leading with your shoulder blades rather than your hands. Okay, so squeezing those shoulder blades together to pinch that P. Inhale, rise slowly, exhale to fall. Looking for 25. Bring the feet up as well if that feels good and you want to work the back more. Another 10. If it's burning, feel free to stop and have a few seconds rest and then jump back in with a few more reps when the burning subsided. 5, 4, 3. One more. Good. Child's pose, knees together, counter pose. 2 big deep breaths. Let's grab a drink. And back over to the prone position. These ones I like to call the angels. Pretend that the floor is lava and you can't touch your hands on the floor. Trying to keep them as high up as possible. Starting position. I'm in here, flip, dorsal raise, or like a swimmer. As many as you can, elbows out to the side like a shoulder press. Squeezing up is important, the last part. As many as you can, or 8. These are quite intense. Another 4. Two more. Use them bum cheeks. 1 more. Well done. Counter pose, child's pose, knees together. 2 big deep breaths. Coming back down into a Sphinx or a Cobra. Settle in with the back and let's see, hopefully that'll feel a little bit, get more benefit out of that stretch now. The muscles are warm. You might want to bring your elbows a little bit further closer together So the elbows are directly under your shoulders now. Deep breaths. If you want to increase the stretch, you can go into seal, extending the arms for 2 breaths, pushing the belly into the floor. One more. Good. Relax down, forehead to your hands, just resting the spine. Good. Friends of physios, this is a big one for physios who like to rehabilitate the piriformis. It's good for PGP. Hip dips, but with some variation. Okay. So elbow should be directly under your shoulder for this one. Push your hips out. Make sure that your whole body is not on this spiky floor because it's sore. Want to start with some warming up first. So coming to parallel, but go a little bit higher for a curve and come all the way down for a stretch. Curve, stretch, take your time. Looking for 15, but if you can only manage 6, these are hard if you've not done them before. 5. Deep breaths, shoulders down away from ears. Another 5, try and switch that glute off as well. 3 more. Then you can rest or you can pause for a 10-second hold. Go. 10. Deep breaths, bringing that curve. Notice where you're feeling the burn. 2, 1. Release. Next is the piriformis. So readjust. Might want to fold your mat under your elbow if it's a bit sore. So in this position, 10 reps for side plank clamshells. Remember what I said about going a little bit higher and parallel. As many as you can, or 10. 5, 6. Good. Knee comes down onto the mat. Mermaid position. So the side that we've just worked, inhale to rise. Sit tall. Exhale to lean over. Deep breaths. You can really feel a tightness on that side. Feel free to grab a drink. I'm going to do that again on the other side. It's baby awake. Okay, elbow directly under, starting with 15 on this side, pushing the hips forward so you're in one line. Whoop. Deep breaths. A little bit higher than hip height. Another 8. Three more, and you've got the option for that 10-second hold. And hold. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Readjust. Found it easier on that side. Not sure about you guys. It must be my stronger side. Clamshells. 1. Going for 10. 5. 2 more. Good. Bottom knee comes forward. Top knee back. Inhale to rise. Exhale. feel that big stretch, pushing the hip down away from your rib cage. Good. Feel free to grab a drink. We're going to move over to some abs. I'm going to mix in with some more glute work. The glutes are, when people have got tight glutes, they are the reason for feeling like an old woman when you're standing up and down. So the hamstrings. So carefully, take your time, making your way down to this position. This is part of you feeling nice and lengthened and warm. Glute bridges, all the way up and all the way down. So this is an opener for the hips, like your hip flexors. Your hips are coming level with your thighs, squeezing the bum cheeks together, and the weight should be in the heel. If you get a cramp, just have a play around with your foot placement. Make sure it's not too far away from your hips. You just want the tension in your bum cheeks. Looking for 20. Another 10, and then you've got the option to hold for 15 seconds. One second, count of 1 up, 2 down. Get the oxygen in there. Another 5, 4, 2, 1, and hold. Squeezing them bum cheeks together. Deep breaths. 3, 2, 1, and release. I'm going to come into a crunch. So pushing your spine into the floor so you've got no curves in your back. Hands behind your head to support your neck, but you're leading with your chest, not pulling on your neck. Coming all the way up, as far up as you can, and slowly down. Squeeze, coming up for a squeeze and slowly down. We're just starting to warm up the core here. 5. Going for another 10 to 15 in total. No pulling on the neck, you're leading with your chest. Another 3. Excellent. Bring it in for a hug and roll, Apanasana, side to side. Keeping your tailbone on the floor, like a little massage for your lower back. Stay in the center, and you can bring your hips out to the side, to little circles, not a full circle. It's getting really deep in there in the hip joint. Good. I'm going to do that again. All the way up and all the way down. All 4. Another 10. Strongest muscle in the body, the glutes, so we've really got to hammer it with reps. 6, 5, hopefully starting to feel that warmth, that burn. 3 more, then you've got the option to hold for those 15 seconds. Release or hold. Can you connect to your core here? Can you feel it's engaged? Three, 2, 1, release. Crunch, supporting your neck, coming all the way up, so squeeze and slowly down. Exhale on the rise. The 5, 4, 2, 1. Good. Knees in for a hug and roll side to side. You can bring the knees out and in for those deep hip. Good. Feel free to grab a drink as we move over to some core exercises before bringing in some stretching and relaxation. So I want to switch the core on, legs into tabletop, back planted and imprinted into the mat. So no curves in the back, rib cage tucked in, belly button into spine. I'm going to bring in with hip kicks, rolling all the way up and all the way down with the spine. It's going for 15. Trying your best to get your hips off the floor. Even if you're not getting your hips off the floor right now, still pretend that you are, put the motions in to do it and you'll get strong enough and eventually you'll be doing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Good. Semi-supine, deep breath for relaxation. Inhale through the nose. Completely filling the lungs. Breathe into your lats. Slowly exhale. Another one. Same again. Hip kicks. So you're not extending the leg at all, like you're actually kicking, it's leading with the hips. As many as you can off 15. 10, 12, 14, 15. Good. Inhale. Good. Imprint the spine, so get rid of that curve in your back. I'm going to bring in a pulse in tabletop leg position. So knee pulse, making sure your back isn't lifting at all. Diastasis recti, safe exercise. As many as you can, or 15. Notice where it's burning, because this is where it's working. Notice any hip clicks, that's a sign of core breakdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Inhale. I'm going to do that once more. And for 15, imprint the spine. (13, 14, 15). When you finish your last rep, inhale. Good. Last core exercise. Bring your knees in for a crunch and your hips lift off the floor just slightly. I'm just going for 12. Okay. Slowly and controlled, coming back away. Eight. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Inhale. Excellent. Beginning our stretches. Shift your hips over to one side, knees over to the other side, and then your arms over. This is a nice one for the pec as well if you're tight there. And what you're trying to do is you want to make sure first and foremost that your shoulders stay on the mat. Ideally, your hips should be stacked, knees should be stacked. But if you tighten your glutes, your knee's going to rise. That's okay. Use our deep breaths to settle in for this spine twist. Keep going around your body, surveying any muscles that are tensed up and not relaxed, and try and switch them off. It's practice, but your breath helps. Inhale, push your belly out and you rise your chest. And then next exhale, you just sink and switch off another muscle and relax further into the mat. My lats are switched on this morning. Another deep breath. Stay here, or you can extend the top leg to increase the base of your back stretch. But you want to plant your shoulders back on the mat. One more deep breath. Good. Bending both knees. Taking your time, because you can be a bit stiff. Shift your hips over to the left now, knees over to the right. Definitely a bit stiff, switching over. Let's just let your body settle into this new position. Use your breath. You can extend that leg if that feels okay. I cannot get my shoulder on the mat this morning on this side. It shows you how stiff you are when you get out of bed. That's why it's good to compare the different times of day you do yoga and Pilates. Good. Coming over to one side, using your hands to come up into a seated position. Well done today. Just going to do a few more stretches. Inhale, and so we're going to go into the mermaid position. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, move over. Shoulders down, away from ears. I'm going to come forward whilst we're in this position. Elbows on the floor, if that feels all right. You feel that stretch in your glute, and I feel like I'm going to be pulled out of this. It's just tight glutes. This is like a gentle pigeon pose. Then inhale, and walk back. Come round the back of us. Chest up. Make sure you've got tension in the neck as you lift your hips, if that feels okay. Inhale, back down. Excellent. Let's swap over. Take your time. The other side. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to move over. Back to center. Exhale as you walk your arms out. Elbows down. Feel that stretch and the gentle pigeon. I think this is called the swan. Something similar anyway. Inhale back to center. Into a counter. Good. Hamstrings. Do you like to stretch out the hamstrings, get very tight? So untuck tailbone, so sitting tall, shoulders down away from ears. I'm just going to come forward ever so slightly, and you feel the stretch in the hamstrings. Now, if you push your bum back, you'll feel an upper hamstring stretch. That's what I'm wanting. Core engaged to protect the back because you're moving into this stretch. Hip openings, let's go nice and wide for a bit of a straddle. Again, untucking that tailbone. You can hold on to the sides of your legs as well. One more deep breath. Good. And then we're going to finish with some relaxation pranayama breath work. So you can just do the normal Pilates breath work that we've practiced today. So into any seated position. Normal Pilates breath work is relaxing as well. Some people don't like to practice pranayama because it can make them feel out of sorts, emotional, and it can be a release, you know, if you've been through trauma and things. Just want to tuck that under my ankle. That's so much better. So untucking the tailbone, sitting tall. Whatever seat, you can be sat next to a wall if that's more comfortable, or on a seat, on a chair. So settle in with our environment and just observe the natural course of our breathing. When we breathe in, I want you to push your belly out on the inhale, and then you'll feel your ribs rise, and then your chest, and then you want to reverse it. So it's in those 3 stages. So on the exhale, your chest falls, then your ribs, and then your belly empties. Think about filling the lungs completely. Breathing into your lats. And we're going to practice box breathing today. Notice your environment and the temperature and what sounds you hear other than myself. Feel the cool air as you breathe in, as it passes through your nostrils into your windpipe. How drying it may be. And the warm exhale. On the next inhale, your own count, we need to inhale for a count of 4. And then you'll pause for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. And then pause for a count of 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue. Namaste, thank you for joining me on the mat today for this Pilates in Turkey.